Chapter 9. Here is the list of everything I have to get done this weekend. Number 1, write a speech for Ben for the Meet the Candidates session on Monday. This was part of the deal Aretha made with us. If she had to be Ben's vice presidential running mate, I had to be Ben's speechwriter. Ben may be a genius artist, but he can't write his way out of a box filled with dictionaries and all the famous speeches of the universe. Number 2, begin developing sample molds to show Mrs. Patino for our big mold museum meeting on Tuesday. Number 3, write the book report I never got around to writing for Mrs. Tuttle. Number 4, make penicillin, and maybe when I am finished I can reinvent the cure for polio. But before I got started on my list of things to do, I had to go with Sarah Fortmeyer, teenage girl, space alien babysitter, to Goodwill to get my worms back. Sarah was waiting for me in the driveway when I got home from school on Friday. She was leaning against my mom's minivan, jingling the keys. My mom and Lyle had taken Lyle's car on their trip, leaving the van for Sarah in case there was an emergency situation. "Hop in the van, Stan," she said. "The Goodwill people called 5 minutes ago. Somebody found your worms when they were sorting through clothing donations. Lucky for us, the manager your mom talked to was working, so he called right away." This was the best news I'd heard all week. It almost made up for having to spend 24 hours straight with Sarah Fortmeyer. Almost, but not quite. "Let's go," I yelled. I threw my backpack on the front steps and jumped in the van. Margaret was already in her car seat and looking at her favorite book, Mr. Monkey Makes a Milkshake. Before I became a scientist, Mr. Monkey was my favorite book, too. This is not something I advertise. For a teenage girl space alien, Sarah Fortmeyer is an okay driver. The only problem about being in the van with her is that she has this sort of purple smell, which is either her perfume or her natural teenage girl space alien scent. Either way, it makes me itchy. Fortunately, we made it to Goodwill before my body broke out in red, scratchy hives. My weekend was already going to be rotten. There was no need to add hives to the mix. When I got my worms back at Goodwill, 10 of them were missing. "They must have fallen out of the box when the lid was taken off," the manager said. He shrugged, like 10 missing dried worms was no big deal. To me, it was a big deal. Do you know how hard it is to find dried worms? Oh, maybe if you live in Australia, it's not a problem. But where I live, finding a dried worm is a major event, especially if it's not smushed beyond recognition. "I've got to find those worms," I said. "They're scientifically important to me and to worm collectors everywhere." "I'm sorry," the manager said. "Only Goodwill employees are allowed in the sorting areas." "You don't understand," I yelled, but the manager just shook his head. You could tell he wasn't going to budge. "Don't worry about it, Mac," Sarah said. "I personally guarantee that I'll find you 10 worms this weekend to make up for the ones you lost." "Dried worms?" I asked. Sarah nodded. "Dried worms." "Okay," I said. At least that would keep Sarah out of my hair. She'd have to spend the whole weekend searching high and low. It has been a bad fall for dried worms. When we got home, Sarah immediately turned on the TV to some talk show. I thought about watching just because I never get to watch anything at my house besides Polly Puppy and her puppy friends. But after 1 minute, I learned a valuable lesson. There are some shows even stupider than Polly Puppy. I know, it's hard to believe. Besides, I needed to make some penicillin, and fast. Aretha said if I didn't have something growing by Monday, she wouldn't put her name on Ben's presidential ticket. "I need to use the computer," I told Sarah. "I have some scientific research to do." "Are you allowed to use the computer, Scooter?" Sarah asked. "I thought your mom had a no computer rule." "Actually, it's a no computer on school days until after dinner, and then only if all homework has been completed and all teeth have been brushed rule," I explained. "Besides, my mom has about 2 million filters downloaded. It's not like I can actually do anything fun on the computer." "Okay," Sarah said. "As long as you can't have any fun, I guess that's all right." Sarah Fortmeyer and my mom are 2 peas in a pod. I sat down at the computer on my mom's desk in the family room and typed penicillin in a search engine. In about 2 seconds, I got a return of 6,140,000 hits. Maybe I would need to narrow my search specifications. I typed in how to grow penicillin. I got 550,000 hits. That would have to do. The first thing I learned was that to make penicillin, you have to grow a mold called penicillium. Penicillium produces a liquid that is made into penicillin. All I needed was a lemon, a milk carton, and some dust. In our house, finding dust would not be a problem. The lemon and the milk carton, on the other hand, would take a little more work. I stuck my head in the fridge. I found a half-full plastic milk jug with no lid and not one single lemon. There was a carton of smushy, oozing cherry tomatoes, 3 chunks of cheddar just beginning to show green spots, and something in a plastic container that I couldn't recognize. There was even a plastic lemon that at one time had held lemon juice, but was now empty, but no real lemons or citrus fruit of any kind. We would have to go to the store. That meant another car trip with the teenage girl space alien, which meant more purple smells, more potential for red scratchy hives breaking out all over my body. I picked up the phone and called Ben. "You have to help me," I said. "I need a lemon and a milk carton, and I need them fast." "No prob," Ben said. "I'll be there in 10 minutes, tops."